Welcome back to the Today with Tally podcast, folks. We have a tremendous show for you on this fabulous Tuesday. Folks, this Saturday in New York City is going to be the New York City SEAL Swim. And today I sit down with three former U.S. Navy SEALs and an Army Ranger. And we talk about what this event is going to be like and what to expect Saturday in New York City. But first,
hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Today with Tally. The mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and search Today with Tally. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the program as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Tally.
Folks, before we get started with talking about the 2023 New York City SEAL Swim that will be taking place this Saturday, I want to remember that 2 years ago, our nation lost 13 U.S. military service members, 11 Marines, one soldier, a naval corpsman, in a botched withdrawal that would ultimately end the 20-year war on terror. And today we salute you and all of the Gold Star families out there that the sacrifice and everything that your sons and daughters have fought for this country for years and years and years. Their memories will never be forgotten. And that's one of the most important things about the New York City SEAL Swim. The New York City SEAL Swim also honors the 12 years ago, August 6th on 2011 was the greatest single loss of American life in the 20-year war on terror. Extortion 17 would claim the lives of all 38 on board the Chinook when it was shot down by an RPG by a Taliban fighter. 15 of the KIA were U.S. Navy SEALs. Now, the loss and the sacrifice included 25 U.S. military special operators, 5 U.S. Army National Guard troops, 7 Afghan commandos, 1 interpreter, and 1 U.S. Navy SEAL dog. Now, what is the New York City Navy SEAL Swim? Well, it's something that Bill Brown founded, a former U.S. Navy SEAL, some 4 years ago. And their first event, I want to say there's 34 Navy SEALs that showed up. And now it has morphed into something that is an iconic swim that folks look forward to every year. I believe there's 242 registered swimmers for this Saturday's event. Now, the New York City SEAL Swim is an event that is held in New York City that brings together former U.S. Navy SEALs, veterans, police officers, firefighters, and first responders from across the country. This iconic event starts at the Empty Sky Memorial in Liberty State Park in New Jersey and ends at the World Trade Center in Manhattan. Participants will enter the Hudson River at Liberty State Park, New Jersey, and swim to the Statue of Liberty, where they do 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups for our nation's freedoms and civil liberties. Next is from the Statue of Liberty to Ellis Island, where 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups are done for our nation's diversity and all those who came to our nation seeking a better life. Then the participants swim across the Hudson River to Battery Park in Manhattan, where they grab American flags and run to the World Trade Center. They finish it up there at Ground Zero, the World Trade Center, and do 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups to honor all those who lost their lives on 9/11, Extortion 17, and all the Americans who put it online for our nation. Again, 34 U.S. Navy SEALs showed up 4 years ago. And this Saturday, we will have 242 participants. And with that, we welcome Ian Schinelli. Ian is a former U.S. Navy SEAL. Joe Palermo, who is a former U.S. Army Ranger. Jason Redman, a former U.S. Navy SEAL, retired lieutenant, U.S. Navy SEAL, and Bill Brown, the founder of the New York City SEAL Swim. Gentlemen, it is an honor to have all of you guys on today's program. How are you?
Doing good, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yep, same. Doing great.
Awesome. Bill, it is so great to see your face. Great friend of mine. I know you've been a friend of the program for quite some time, and this is the week. This is the week that you have been waiting for, the special date that has been checked on your calendar for quite some time, and that the week has come, man. How you feeling, and are you prepped and ready to go for Saturday?
Hey, Brian, number one, I salute you. I salute the great work you do for veterans in advocacy, and especially for veterans in healthcare. For those who don't know, you are a true hero, man, a true veterans advocate. That's number one. Number two, look at these beautiful Americans I got on this podcast. That's the best part of this event. It brings great guys together. I'm super fired up. I just had a huge conference call with all the supporting assets. They're fired up. We're all excited to represent our communities with honor and send a positive patriotic message of unity and honor all those who put it on the line for our country when our country really needs it. So I'm ready to rock.
Love it, man. I love the motivation. I can just hear it in your voice, man. You are ready to go. Ian, I want to direct this question to you. Now, what does this event mean to you? I know you're in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're going to be flying into New York here very soon. What does this event mean to you as a former U.S. Navy SEAL?
It's a really special event to be a part of. Honestly, the first time that I kind of got introduced to it was through a mutual friend, Jeff Gum, and so he's obviously a big ambassador for the SEAL community. And I had seen something on his Instagram. And I honestly had no idea what was going on with the event. And once he kind of told me about it, I had to join in the following year, wanted to be a part of it. And so for me, when I got there, I didn't know who was going to be there besides him. I didn't know, what guys I may see or run into. And it was honestly a very emotional get together of guys, not just, SEALs, but obviously Green Berets or Rangers or, firefighters or just regular patriots from around the country, because you just don't see it in your day-to-day life a whole lot if you're not in a true military town. And so going to New York City, it was a toss-up on what was going to happen. And so getting there and being with guys that you hadn't seen for a long time, and I had run into a few guys that I went to buds with. And so for me, I hadn't seen them in probably 12 years, 13 years. And so it was a really special moment to run into them, to get to talk to them, see where they're at in their lives, but then also meet other individuals that you just don't expect to be introduced to, the ones that you've never met before. You don't know where they come from, but they're so appreciative of what you do. Whereas, our community, we thank each other in our own ways, but it's just, we're used to it. Whereas when you have just regular, American patriots that come out and support it, it's just a really special event to be a part of.
Very well said. Bill, are you like heading in
mobile
somewhere right now? I think this guy's getting ready to jump into the Hudson right now. Let's go. What a motivator. Now, Joe Palermo, you live in the area of Jersey, New York, correct?
Yeah, that's right, Brian. I'm from Jersey. I work in New York. And, the way I found out about this event is from my previous employer. I worked at the Port Authority, and the World Trade Center is a Port Authority site. We own the property, or the Port Authority owns the property. So From the onset, when the swim was conceived, the Port Authority was part of it, and they still are, and they maintain their role to bring across the swimmers safely from the Hudson to the World Trade Center.
Now, I bet Bill has really leaned on you a lot, especially being, a former employee of the Port Authority. I mean, this is
not a lot to lean on.
I'm sorry?
Easy now, easy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, to me, this is a massive logistical operation. I mean, you're in the largest city in America, one of the largest cities literally in the world, and you are working in unison with the Port Authority, with New Jersey State Police, with FDNY, NYPD, the Port Authority Police Department, and the U.S. Coast Guard alike. Again, all working in unison, not only to protect the swimmers and everybody that are out there, but to also protect the public and ensure that that everything is flowing right. You've got streets blocked off. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. Describe what that entails and how something like this is so fine-tuned into having a successful event.
Is that for me, Brian?
Hey, is this for?
Yes, Joe.
Is this for Joe or me?
Joe.
So just like you said, there's so many moving parts. There's so many assets involved. Anything from federal, state, and local government to even Don John Marina. They supply the barges. That's that's a huge thing to get barges set up, spud barges, right outside the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. This is it's the Hudson River. It's a major navigation channel. Mm-hmm. It goes on and on. The list goes on and on about how many people are involved and how many agencies come together to make this event what it is. It's truly remarkable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you guys have done, it's truly incredible. How much that this event has grown. I think just 4 or 5 years ago, you had 34 swimmers, and now I've seen about 242 rostered swimmers, from U.S. Navy SEALs to, Marine Raiders to U.S. Army Rangers to Patriots to U.S. Coast Guard to, it has grown. It's just morphed into this iconic type event, and you've got some beautiful abs there, Bill. Now, this next question is to retired U.S. Navy SEAL Lieutenant Jason Redman. Now, look, we all know, you are a battle-tested, battle-hardened warrior. Jason Redman, a very well-known authority in the U.S. military veteran world, especially in the SEAL teams. What does the preparation look like and the training look like for an event like this?
Brian, I'm having a hard time paying attention. There's so much sexiness occurring on Bill's screen that it's blocking up my brain. It's just, Bill, I need you to stop. I can't handle myself. So.
Oh, man.
No, Brian, in all seriousness, what's funny? There is a lot of training. I think there's some guys that do a great job of holding themselves to a super high level of fitness. Swimming, though, is a whole separate thing. So there's some guys, and I'll tell you, I'm like a lot of SEALs. I hate swimming. And just like Ian, a buddy of mine, I had heard about the swim probably 3 years ago, and I was like, that is definitely something I don't want to do. And then last year, I was at the Army-Navy game, and there were a couple of buddies, one being Ray Kerr, and Ray was like, bro, you got to come do this swim. It's amazing. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And I reached out to Bill, and Bill was like, bro, you need to understand, this swim is no joke. Like, you better start training now. And this was December, and I had like 8 months. And Brian, I'll tell you the truth. I got wounded in September of 2007. I had not done a real swim since before I was wounded. Like, I've been in a pool. I'm not a lot. And so I started training. I took it seriously because I was like, there is no way I'm going to be this guy that shows up that doesn't complete this swim or doesn't look good. I trained my ass off and crushed that swim last year. It gave me a great appreciation. So I did the same this year. I did a lot of training, a lot of swimming in the pool. Last weekend, I did my final open water swim. We basically replicated the swim here in Virginia Beach, roughly 2.5 to 3 miles here in Virginia Beach. We added in a couple miles running, and we did our 300 push-ups and 66 pull-ups. And it was amazing. But bigger than that, just like Ian said, it is. I told Bill last year after I did it, as much as I don't like swimming, it is probably one of the most patriotic and amazing events I've ever been a part of. And I've done a lot of events. Bill has put together something amazing beyond just a bunch of brothers and sisters who are part of the protector community, I like to call them, our military, law enforcement, fire, all these different amazing individuals and all these patriots who lead in this country. Man, you bring all these people together and you're swimming across the harbor that really became the focal starting point for Americans. So when I swam under that Statue of Liberty and looked up at it, when we were right across from Ellis Island, my parents are immigrants. I'm a first-generation American. My grandparents immigrated from France. My mom got naturalized here, which was like 22, 23. Like, I just think about that. My family, when they came over here, and they were like, man, freedom and opportunity, this is the land, and that swim captures that. So the training's worth it, because when you're with all these people, man, you don't think about it. You're just caught up in this amazing wave of energy and patriotism.
Love it. There is nothing more American than having all these warriors, and American patriots out there, just celebrating our nation and also remembering all those that we have lost, through all these wars that our country has been in. But again, it's reconnecting with the old, and it's about building new relationships as well. And you're sharing all these common bonds. Now, Jay, is there some sort of a strategy, if you will, to this swim? Because the current can be fairly bad. I mean, it's a dangerous river. Is there a certain way that you prepare yourself to swim in a certain manner to where you don't get off course and you got to stay, kind of on course? And what does that look like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bill and the guys do an amazing job. I mean, it's one of the things that we do in SEAL teams. We do a lot of, when we do combat swimming operations, we do over the beach operations. We have to do a lot of understanding the tides and currents, because I don't care who you are. I don't care how great a swimmer you are. You're not going to be able to swim against, currents that are getting faster than 1 knot, 2 knots. And I think the Hudson River has about 2 knots by the time it's max ever flow. So all that's timed, and Bill has done an amazing job of setting that up, but we have to follow this strict timeline. So the good news is only part of the very beginning of the swim, you're swimming against the current. So it gives you a little bit of an extra workout when you're fresh. And then after that, we go to slack, meaning you're in between the current flow. So it's just choppy. It's no big deal. And then after that, you're with the current. And that's a lot of fun, man. It's like running downhill. You're swimming downhill. So the last leg is the longest leg. It's about 2 miles, but really it's more like only about a mile swim because the current's starting to pick up and cook. It's probably doing about 2 knots, I would estimate. So the secret is you better aim correctly, because if you get past the drop-off point, and there's a lot of guys, and Bill thankfully gave me that great advice last year. He's like, bro, stay up current. Make sure you're because if you get past it, then you got to be that guy that somebody has to go save with the jets.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to stay within that. Yeah, inside that, because if you don't, well, they got the Port Authority out there and the Coast Guard. I guess just waiting for somebody to veer off course. Now, Bill Brown, this next question is for you. Look at what you have built. I mean, look at what you have built here. You guys started with 34 swimmers some 4 or 5 years ago. You have 242 listed swimmers. You have got this logistical operation occurring in the largest city in the United States of America. with every single, I mean, with some of the nation's finest warriors all showing up for something that you created. How does that make you feel, Bill?
Here's the truth. Anything kind of magnificent in life that I've ever been any type of glorious victory, I've always had great people backing me up. And I think the truth is, in this event, one of the things Joe Palermo put out with the Port Authority, so many great organizations. One of the things Jay was pointing out about dialing in that swim for my brothers, New Jersey State Police helped me out so much. NYPD, FDNY, so many veterans, I call it the veteran mafia, that have leadership positions in these various law enforcement and fire department outfits have backed me up. My brothers in the SEAL teams have backed me up. And, we get together and, we believe in this country. We believe in the freedoms and civil liberties that this country was founded on. We believe in, to the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We believe in equality. We believe that this country is beautiful. And there's a reason why thousands and thousands of people from across the planet come to our country every year. And you think about the Statue of Liberty and what the C stands for, that torch of freedom. You think about Ellis Island and how many millions of American families came to this country at that entrance point. You think about New York City, the financial capital of this country. You think about the World Trade Center. We bring together all these iconic landmarks and we send a message. The SEAL teams, the SEAL community leads this charge. But with many great outfits, our brothers like the Rangers and Joe, the Port Authority, various law enforcement, fire departments. And we send a message, Fox News, Newsmax. We send a message for our entire country to remind our country when we're carrying those flags with pride through the World Trade Center. We got bagpipers, FDNY bagpipers playing for us, how great this country is and why we should be proud of it. And so I got to tell you, look at the beautiful men we have right here on this podcast. There's no greater honor in my life to help be a part of this and bring great guys together to do something positive and remind our country how beautiful she is. So, man, am I excited? You better believe it, man. Am I fired up? Yeah, I'm ready to rock, brother.
And it's events like this, Bill and Jay and Ian and Joe, that keep that Liberty Bell here at home ringing. And we must never forget what we are all about here in the United States of America. Because like you said, she is worth fighting for and preserving. And again, for the future generations, never forgetting about the past generations, but always looking to the future generations as well, to upholding our values and our traditions as Americans. Folks,
hey,
we
Brian,
are...
Brian, there's a lot of things going on in this country right now. A lot of things. But one thing that's not happening? There's nobody out there trying to unite us, to try to bring us together, remind us how great we are, how beautiful we are. And the SEAL community, with this run, that's what we're leading it, man. We're running point on it, and we're trying to bring people together. We're trying to unite people, and it's just a positive thing. We're not diversity, religious, all that stuff.
And Bill, all eyes will be on you and this magnificent event that you have planned on Saturday. Folks, how can you help these warriors? Well, I'll tell you how. There are still New York City SEAL Swim sponsorship opportunities available. Learn more by visiting the 2023 New York SEAL Swim campaign today online at impact.navysealfoundation.org. Folks, once again, it's impact.navysealfoundation.org. Now, Bill, where are you at right now? Are you down in Manhattan?
No, I got I'm like, there's a lot of stuff popping off right now. I'm trying to hit all my targets as I move. I had a huge conference call all morning with all supporting assets. I'm standing outside NGIT Police Command. those guys help send another message of unity. I have those guys lead in the front of the flag run with us, because I want to show that message of unity between law enforcement and veterans and even firefighters. I call it the guardian spirit. So I actually have a big meeting with those guys, and they want to take a big picture of us. So I'm hitting and moving. So right the second after this podcast, that's where I'm at. I'm in Newark right now. And so, yeah, I got a busy schedule right now, but I apologize for, the background. I'm doing the best I can, brother. And thank you so much for promoting this event, promoting the Navy SEAL Foundation and my brothers in the SEAL teams. I'm
a big fan. You know that, buddy. I'm a big fan. Anything I can do to help you guys are about as solid as they come. And I know you guys are very busy and you guys have very busy lives, so again, your time is valuable. But you know what? You're speaking to a very large audience out there, and the majority of the audience are military veterans and, first responders and American patriots. And, and right now we're fighting a battle in this country. There's an epidemic, there's a suicide, epidemic that is going on within this military and first responder community. And I sincerely believe it is events like this that will change lives and that also do save lives of, some of the most vulnerable and at-risk veterans that we have in this country. Would you say so?
Yeah. Can I speak to that, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, it's events like this unequivocally bringing us together. The adventure therapy, as Bill calls it, is a big thing. But the reality is we need dollars. We need dollars because in the mental health challenges that our warriors are facing are a real thing. A lot of people don't realize we lost a little over 7,000 warriors in the global war on terror between Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Northern Africa. We are losing an average of 8,000 veterans a day to suicide. A lot of this is, it is mental health. It's a combination of post-traumatic stress from the emotional and mental trauma of war, and it's also physical. This is something we are beginning to understand, that we are seeing the scarring on the brain from blast injuries, from the way we train. Navy SEAL Foundation is committing to a lot of those different programs. They're committing to the programs to help us understand and study the brain. There are organizations out there that are trying to understand the effects of TBI. A lot of the suicides we've had over the last 10 years, we're starting to see the level of brain scarring post-mortem. We can't diagnose that now. So all the dollars that people are contributing, and it's not just to help out an amazing event like this, it is to help long-term. How do we help future warriors who are going to go into battle, who are going to train? How do we help them to mitigate the brain trauma, both the physical and the invisible wounds of war? So that is a big thing people need to understand. You're not just funding this swim, you are funding the future physical, mental, family, social health of our warriors, specifically our special operations warriors.
You can help by going to impact.navysealfoundation.org. That is impact.navysealfoundation.org. Now, Jay, you swam this last year. I want you to describe the feeling of completing this event and standing with your fellow warriors at Ground Zero.
Humbling. I think for so many of us that were here, at least, I think the majority of us for the swim, we're all of age. I'm 48. There's a lot of SEALs that came in because of 9/11. I was already in, but I will never forget. I was actually in my commissioning program. Everybody, we've come to figure out if you're 26, 27 and above, you remember where you were when 9/11 happened. And I'll never forget, man, I was standing with my best friend who just took his own life in December. He was a fellow SEAL, and we were standing in the Old Dominion University Student Center. And he and I watched together as the planes hit the trade centers. And we looked at each other and we're like, we're going to war. And fast forward to all the friends I've lost since then. 9/11 took his life. There's no doubt in my mind that the mental wounds of war, he did 8 combat deployments. and was exposed to numerous blasts. And there's no doubt in my mind, this war took his life. It took the proper functioning of his brain. So when we were all together at the end, I just thought about how much that day had united us, this monumental sacrifice that occurred on our own soil. And I know every other guy felt the same as me, that we were driven to protect our homeland and to protect the freedoms that Al-Qaeda and bin Laden basically said, we hate you because of your freedoms and your beliefs. So at the end, when you were at ground zero and you finished this amazing thing, man, it was emotional. And it's just an amazing thing. And it reminded me, frequently in training, we used to joke about, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. I know Joe can, relate to it. I mean, always in special operations, you're going to do things that are hard and dangerous and scary as hell. And right before you do it, your brain's kind of racing like, what am I doing? This is going to suck. But when you do it and you do it with your brothers and you get to the end, you're just like, man, that was awesome. Like, we are part of a very small group of people who are willing to endure this hardship and get to the other side. And you get a taste of that with this swim.
Very well said. Very well said. Ian, I want to come to you now. Former U.S. Navy SEAL, a lot of people look to folks like you, to Ian Schinelli, for guidance and, for leadership. Of course, being part of some of the world's most elite fighting forces. There are a lot of veterans out there that are hurting. What type of encouragement could you leave us today, or perhaps some veterans that are listening, or somebody that may be going through a rough patch in their life today? What kind of encouragement can you leave this show with today?
I'd tell them right away, just you need to lean on your brothers or sisters for that matter, whatever community you came from. It doesn't have to be, SEAL community, Ranger, Green Beret, any special operations for that matter. Yes, we know as a community that others look to us for leadership and guidance, but when it comes down to it, good people are good people. Every military branch has them. Every community within the military has them. For me personally, getting out is a very difficult thing. When you leave the military, you really don't have that same purpose that you had. You have to actually repurpose yourself in a different way. And obviously Bill's doing something right now and all his other endeavors. It's like you're watching that, and that's kind of the inspiration, that I look to, or what Jason does. And seeing guys like that, it's like, okay, well, this is how I need to repurpose myself, the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I can help, my community or other communities kind of get involved in. But I've had to lean on some of my best friends, not only from the SEAL community, but from the Navy in general. My best friend is a Navy intel officer, and he's a Homeland Security agent, and a little bit older than me, but he's somebody that he's been through similar experiences, and he's somebody that I've relied on very heavily in the few years that I've been out of the Navy. And so for anybody that's, having any kind of thoughts or not sure where to go with their guidance, you just need to talk to the guys that you've been with before, whether you just knew them from the military or you've deployed with them, whoever it may be. But having that commonality, having that, shared experience just makes it a lot easier to talk to somebody, and kind of discuss what you're going through. And so I would just say, reach out to somebody that somebody that you're comfortable with, and make it easier on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Vulnerabilities, guys. It's okay to not be okay if you're not feeling well. You can always reach out to somebody. There's always a phone. There's always somebody there that cares enough about you to sit down with, break some bread. Again, like-minded individuals. A lot of people have been through a lot of life struggles, and it's how you make it through those life struggles that will ultimately define who you are as you carry on in this walk in life. Now, what 9/11 has done is strip so many Americans of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And it's just not the lives that were lost on the day inside the World Trade Center buildings. It's the military. It's the first responders. It's the family members of the lost ones, the Gold Star moms and dads and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and everybody that is tied to everybody that has been involved in this 20-year war on terror that continues to take the lives, again, of our nation's most brave and our nation's most courageous, and everybody that has sacrificed so much for this country. And again, it's events like this, like the New York City SEAL Swim, that bring people together, that can bring the nation together, because all eyes are on you guys on Saturday. And that's how it's been for the last 4 years. And I bet you it's even grown, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. I bet you the rest of the world is going to watch this too and say, absolutely incredible. Because again, what you guys put on with the logistics and the swim and the pull-ups and the push-ups and the stamina and the energy and everything that you pull out of yourself. I mean, you're not 18 years old anymore, but you guys are still out there. You're fighting. And like what Jay said, you don't need to like it. You just go out and do it. Step outside of your comfort zone, because know that you're doing something bigger than yourself, and you're doing it together, and you're doing it as a team. And that's what you guys have grown to do your entire life. Now, this next question here, I want to get Joe involved here. Joe, you're a former U.S. Army Ranger. What kind of experience do you have in a pool?
Well, not a whole lot, I'll tell you that. Like Jay said, he doesn't like swimming, but I don't like running either. But I'd have to default to the swim, because it's besides it being great exercise, it's a lot of fun. But the Rangers don't do too much swimming. We got maybe some, what do they call it? Combat survival swimming or safety swimming. You do some maybe 50 meters or 100 meters with a weapon, and a couple of iterations like that in the water, but not too much swimming like the SEALs. But it's all the same. You put your mind to something, you train for it, you embrace the suck, kind of like what Jay was saying. You don't like to do it, but when you get there, you're going to do it. So that's how I look at it. And just to be around these guys, it brings back a lot of memories. I'm not a part of the SEAL community. I'm not a SEAL. However, being part of the Ranger community and special operations, the camaraderie is there. And this event really brings it back together for me.
Absolutely. And, it started off at being a SEAL swim, but now again, it is still the New York City SEAL Swim. However, those doors have been open to a lot of the other, special operations communities and first responders that, alike. And again, it's grown into this patriotism, like, be proud to be an American. You know what I mean? Be proud to wave that flag and the stars and the stripes that, that that our country has, spilled the blood, of great men and women for generations to keep us free and prosperous. And we can never lose that. And it's events like this that will continue on the tradition of our country and the legacy of folks like you and generations past and for future generations to come. Bill, what is up now? Dude, the day's here, man. You're what? T-minus 3 days until you jump in the water here? 4 days?
Yeah. Hey, you want to know what I'm worried about?
What's that?
I'm worried about somebody's going to take a picture next to me and Ian.
Man, that was
Ian.
That was random.
His abs are ripped, and I need to work on mine a little bit. So, Ian, you're not allowed to take any pictures next to me, bro. You got to stand next to somebody else.
Oh man.
That's
That's what I'm worried about.
Oh man, Bill, I tell you what, man.
And hey guys, I love you, man. I gotta go. I gotta do some stuff here with the NYC police, man. I love you all. I'm so grateful, man. God bless. We're gonna share an epic adventure, man.
Awesome. Listen,
See you,
Bill, Ian,
See you, Bill.
Joe, Jay, thank you guys all so much for joining us today on the Today with Tally podcast. And I wish you guys nothing but the best on Saturday. And I know you guys are definitely going to go out there, do a great job, and rock it.
Hey,
Looking
fellas,
forward to it. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Stay away
Thanks,
from
Brian.
me, bro.
coming together. I look forward to having my first drink in like 5 months after that swim on Saturday.
And again, guys, I want to thank you guys all for your service, your sacrifice and your dedication to our great nation. It's truly admirable. And again, I'm talking to some of America's finest men right here on this podcast right now. So again, I'm truly honored to have you all.
Very much appreciated.
Love you guys. God bless.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks,
Brian.
guys. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
God bless you guys.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you, Brian.
sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have just spoken to some of America's finest. Former U.S. Navy SEAL Ian Schinelli, U.S. Army Ranger Joe Palermo, retired U.S. Navy SEAL Lieutenant Jason Redman, and the founder himself of the U.S. Navy SEAL Swim, Bill Brown. Now, folks, you can donate today. There is still time to donate to the New York City SEAL Swim, and they do have sponsorship opportunities available. Learn more today by visiting the 2023 New York City SEAL Swim campaign today at impact.navysealfoundation.org. That is impact.navysealfoundation.org. And I just want to go over a few more things here on what these Navy SEALs and special operators and U.S. American patriots will be going through. The New York City SEAL Swim is an event, again, that is held in New York City, and it's this Saturday, that brings together former U.S. Navy SEALs, veterans, police officers, firefighters, and first responders from across the country. Now, this iconic event starts at the Empty Sky Memorial in Liberty State Park in New Jersey and ends at the World Trade Center in Manhattan. All participants will enter the Hudson River at Liberty State Park, New Jersey, and swim to the Statue of Liberty, where they will do 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups for our nation's freedoms and civil liberties. Next is from the Statue of Liberty to Ellis Island, where 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups are done for our nation's diversity and all those who came to our nation seeking a better life. Like Lieutenant Jason Redman said, I'm a first-generation American. And Ellis Island, it means something to me. It means a lot to me. Then the participants swim across the Hudson River to Battery Park in Manhattan, where they grab American flags and run to the World Trade Center. Then they wrap it up. They finish at the World Trade Center and do another 100 honor push-ups, an additional 22 pull-ups to honor all those who lost their lives in 9/11, Extortion 17, and all the Americans who put it on the line for our great nation. 4 years ago, Bill Brown had an idea. I want to put together a New York City SEAL swim. Well, 34 U.S. Navy SEALs showed up. On Saturday, they will have 242 participants in this now iconic Navy SEAL swim that takes part in New York City. And folks, I tell you what, that current is going to be flowing. And if you don't hit it right, if you don't stay with the current and stay on the inside, it will take you. It'll take you to places that you don't want to go, and they'll have the rescue boat out there getting you. But talk about the energy that is going to be needed to do this, the stamina, the mind over matter, folks. I mean, miles of swimming in the Hudson, all the push-ups, all the pull-ups, and then a run. This is definitely something that these folks have been training for quite some time for, some even 8 months. The training never stops for a one-day event such as this one. And then at the end, of course, they're going to break some bread, probably even have an alcoholic beverage, if you will, and to, again, remember the lives lost on all these tragic days in our country, and know, folks, that we are all in this fight together, and we are stronger as one. And we must never forget everything our nation has been through, and will continue to go through as we're living in some pretty wild times. But again, it's about these warriors that are making a difference in the lives of all Americans. So many Americans, for encouragement, guidance, leadership, inspiration, and that never give up and that never quit mentality from these war fighters. Now, folks, I want to share this website once again. There are still New York City SEAL Swim sponsorship opportunities available. Learn more once again by visiting the 2023 New York City SEAL Swim campaign today at impact.navysealfoundation.org. That is impact.navysealfoundation.org. I want to go over this schedule one more time with you guys so you guys understand a little bit about what's going on here, just in case if you began this show a little late. Now, this Saturday is the New York City Navy SEAL Swim. It is something that started with just 34 swimmers some 4 years ago and has morphed into over 240 registered swimmers for this Saturday as they embark on this journey and sharing the camaraderie of so many great Americans. Now, this event, this New York City SEAL Swim is an event that is held in New York City that brings together former SEALs, veterans, police officers, firefighters, and first responders from across the country. Now, this iconic event starts at the Empty Sky Memorial in Liberty State Park in New Jersey and ends at the World Trade Center in Manhattan. Participants will enter the Hudson River at Liberty State Park, New Jersey, and swim to the Statue of Liberty, where they will do 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups for our nation's freedoms and civil liberties. Next is from the Statue of Liberty to Ellis Island, where 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups are done for our nation's diversity and for all those who came to our nation seeking a better life. Then the participants swim across the Hudson River to Battery Park in Manhattan, where they grab American flags and run to the World Trade Center. Once they get there, they're going to wrap things up. 100 honor push-ups and 22 pull-ups to honor all those who lost their lives on 9/11, Extortion 17, and every American who has put it all on the line for our nation. Good luck. And Godspeed, gentlemen. Folks, it has never been easier to listen to this podcast, and I welcome you to go subscribe today. We are on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we're also on BrianTalley.com. That's right, folks, BrianTalley.com. You can buy a book there, and you can also check out my speaking engagements that I'm doing now across the country. Feel free to go check it all out there. And again, I sincerely appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis on all 8 of our streaming platforms. And you are making the Today with Tally podcast what it is, because folks, without you, we wouldn't be here doing this and putting out this great word and this great message from war heroes all the way down to entrepreneurs and everybody that makes America great, and everything, and all the wheels and all the and everything that just pushes our country forward in a positive direction. Folks, always remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time, for Today with Tally podcast, this is Brian Tally. Good night. Semper Fi.